Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's edition of Capes and Commentaries. I'm your co-host Nathan Kennedy here with Tyler Baker, and man, I'm rough shape this week. I don't know about you. You probably went right back on into the work week, no problems. But man, I'm struggling. I worked some overtime yesterday. If you guys see me doing this throughout like this show in retro, it's just because like I don't know, man. I need to go just get a deep tissue massage or
You probably need that and a good back cracking. That's what you need.
yeah, probably. But
I give you a nice big bear hug and crack your whole spine.
no,
I like doing it too. It's I get a kick out of cracking spine.
I don't want any internal bleeding.
It's only happened once, and it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, I bet. But how's your week been? Was it easy going back to work?
Wasn't too bad. I did have some mild irritation, which will probably linger more this coming week. But for the most part, it was an easy getting back into the work week, and then this week will be some mild irritation, but overall it shouldn't be too bad.
I'm struggling. I'm like, I don't want to go back tomorrow.
Well, I will be struggling once the regular work schedule picks back up because I got more responsibilities starting this new semester. So that I'm kind of dreading because I don't know how difficult it's going to be. So that part, it's you're jumping into it. I still got more. I'm not anxiously awaiting, but don't know how it's going to go. So nervously awaiting.
I don't know about you because your job is very kind of isolated, but with mine, I'm around people quite a bit. But when I went back, I was like, I spent so much time away from these people. I don't want to talk to anybody first day. And everyone's like, hey, how was break? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I just let me work. It's just, I want to work and be in my own space for a little bit. And then I'll warm up. And then everything will be fine. But people are just like, hey, talk to me. I'm like, I don't want to right now.
I have to do that through every dining hall. When everyone comes back, I had to go through, tell this dining hall about my break and what I did or what I didn't do. Go to the next dining hall, tell them about my break and what I did, what I didn't do. Go to the third one, what I did, what I didn't do. Go to the fourth one.
It sucks. It sucks.
It gets kind of monotonous telling this. I'd rather take that than, hey, cook guy, you wearing shorts in 10-degree weather. How do you do it, man?
It's like, well, I work and move around a lot, so I do get hot.
Yes, and this is my 8th year of telling you this. If you don't get it by now, I don't.
There's no hope for you.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, with all the work conversation out of the way, we're talking about Spider-Man 67. This is our first time. We've done Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends and
Spectacular Spider-Man.
But this is our first foray into, I would say, was undoubtedly probably the most popular out of that batch. I would say, like, at least because the theme song and like the your internet memes.
Yeah, it definitely has made it like and I think most of it is because of the memes and the song. Hardcore Spider-Man fans can pinpoint certain episodes and things like that. But yeah, it just it lingers the most outside of like the solo Spider-Man show, the Amazing Friends, the '90s show, Spectacular Spider-Man. It just has that it'll never go away. As old as the show is, it has like that same kind of flavors like the '60s Batman. People like to go back and reference it. They may not be able to tell you much about it. They just can. Oh yeah, that's the goofy, campy Batman with the bad dance. Like, shut the hell up, man. But it has that appeal of like it'll never go away because people that's what they think of. But the reason we're doing this is to remind everyone it's a great cartoon. I don't think people really take the time to watch it. I mean, obviously not. I can't say it completely because what we're going to watch has over 1 million views on YouTube, and it's on DVD and
yeah. You have the set on DVD. I remember the set was released when the
first Spider-Man movie came out.
Yeah, and you jumped on that. I didn't buy it, and then didn't you? Did you sell it and then you rebought it?
It's one of those times where I got when you don't have a job, you get desperate for like extra cash. So when GameStop back then could give you okay money for selling back movies, and so I tried it, and I remember after I did it, I think it was like after the first Spider-Man movie came out, I got kind of on DVD, and I got really soured about Spider-Man at the time because I was oh god, and I think that's when I sold it. But then it wasn't too long after that I bought it, and I will never sell it again.
As you shouldn't, because that set is very expensive.
Yes.
Very expensive.
Yeah, and I'm glad when I repurchased it. I think it was like $25.
Yeah.
I didn't pay a whole lot for it when I repurchased it.
Yeah, I think
but that was years ago when I did that.
If I were to ever add this to my collection, I would just have to stumble across it at a pawn shop or something. Which
I was thinking you had it. Like,
no,
Oh, wow.
I don't have it, and honestly, never really watched this that much. I may have tuned into a little bit as a kid, but no, because especially as a kid, I was more DC guy. Like I enjoyed Marvel stuff, but for me it was DC all the way as a kid.
Because I don't recall this ever being on TV when we were kids, though. Like, it was on VHS.
Yeah, no. Well, that's the thing. Like, I may have seen it in passing at some point somehow, but I never really tuned into this at all.
It was actually the first animated Spider-Man I ever saw was the VHS tape that had the origin of Spider-Man and the Kingpin episode, and I think one more episode. And that was like my first introduction to Spider-Man outside like the bumpers for Muppet Babies or the outro to Muppet Babies with the Marvel logo. And I became quite fixated on Spider-Man after that, and then would see the Amazing Friends on the Marvel Action Universe, and just kind of took off slowly in 1992, I think, was when it really kicked off for me. But yeah, this is the first, not this episode, but this was my first introduction to an animated Spider-Man. So it's not a heavy nostalgia because I really didn't get to watch a whole lot more of it till I got older.
Until you bought that DVD set.
Until I bought the DVD set, and there's a lot of fun episodes on there. And I love what I like about this show is that even though as old as it is, they took the show seriously. Like it's a lighthearted cartoon, but it's not trying to be silly. It's going with the limitations of what they could do back then, and it can't be.
It has its charm watching it now.
Yeah. Now I imagine, because now knowing that, I'm not going to expect Nathan to walk away from this thinking, "Wow, that was tremendous. I must buy the set." Like,
no, I will laugh a time or two.
Well, I mean, and I get that. For me to think that people would come along and think, "Wow, this is groundbreaking."
Oh yeah, it's
an old cartoon.
Yeah,
it's not cartoon.
Yeah, it's not going to blow anybody away. But if you look at it for its time, it looks great.
And it follows the first appearance of the Lizard. Like if you read the first issue number 6 of Amazing Spider-Man, it pretty much follows the exact same story. It takes a few
liberties.
Liberties, yeah, I was going to say limitations. Liberties with the story.
That wouldn't have made any sense.
Yeah, it wouldn't have. And tweaks a few things here and then, cuts out some of the stuff, but for the most part, it follows the exact same story of Spider-Man hearing about the Lizard in New York. The Lizard's running rampant in Florida. He goes down to Florida to confront the Lizard, meets Dr. Connor's family, fights the Lizard in the swamp and inside the Spanish fort. So
once we start watching it and getting into it, I'll kind of give you my initial thoughts and impressions when I checked it out, and we'll get into that. I want to say hello to Who Dat Well and Delvis. I know Delvis popped in, but he's at work and he can't stay, and that's a bummer, man. The work life. The never-ending grind.
I don't miss doing that.
Yeah, I don't either. But I wish I didn't have to work yesterday. Full weekend would have been nice. It would have been an easier transition instead of, all right, now work 4 days, have 1 day off. Oh, bam, you're right back into it again. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, I guess that's why I can't complain, because I went to work for 3 days, then I was off for 2, and then I go back to work for a regular work week.
You bastard. But also link down below in the description. So if you guys want to watch along with us, feel free to do that. Or if you have your very expensive DVD set, feel free to pop in that disc. And Tyler, I guess without further ado, give us that countdown, and we'll before we do get going, I think it's interesting of note, I'm assuming pretty much that these were broken up into here's 2 little episodes per show.
Pretty much, like on the DVD set, there's 2 episodes, like kind of linked together. Like you have the intro episode, and then the next episode starts with the title card, and then the episode kicks off. So yeah, I'd imagine when it was a regularly aired show on ABC that it probably was linked with 2 episodes apiece. Kind of like how like they did with the '90s cartoons or like
Doug.
You have like
Doug, I always think of Doug when it's broken up like this. Always Doug.
Yeah. Doug and Rocco, a lot of those early.
Rugrats did it too, right?
Mm-hmm. Rugrats did it. I think Ren and Stimpy may have done it too.
Yeah.
But and then Looney Tunes used to do it too with like 3 episodes in one block.
I feel a sneeze coming on. Is it going away?
Just relax and let it come.
Purple cabbage. All right, went away.
Does that help you sneeze or keep the sneeze away?
It distracts you. If someone's getting ready to sneeze, you just say purple cabbage.
Wait, but don't you want to sneeze though?
Well, I think it's if they're struggling to sneeze. Like if they're taking forever to do it, just say purple cabbage and be like, "What?" And then they'll take their mind off sneezing.
Oh, I guess you could say anything. Fifi no. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, guess anything could work.
Cult of Amato, what?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Praise be El Monterey. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Cheap barbecue sauce, McDonald's napkins. What?
There's I'll bring up we'll talk about it on Retro. There's an article I'm going to find that involves a guy being pissed off at a McDonald's over napkins. And I want to bring it up in front of Joe.
I want to Joe, like, I'll give you permission to print the story, but change my name.
Yeah, when I saw the headline, I was like, what the hell did Joe do?
A mob boss, makes the headlines. Mob hit at McDonald's.
Yeah.
He was humiliated at his local McDonald's in parts unknown.
Anyway.
Picturing Joe act like, Donegal, never invited me over for coffee and cake. I love coffee and cake, especially if it's free.
Yeah, Joe loves his free food. He ate all his fucking cookies, I think. He ate them all before they could go bad.
Of course he did.
And even if they went bad, I don't think it would matter too much. It's like, a little bit of mold. Well, yeah, we'll scrape that off.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Andy Dick said. It was free.
Yeah. Free! Anyway, give us a countdown. We'll get this thing going.
All right. 3, 2, 1, action. Dun, 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 dun.
So this is what sticks out the most.
Yeah.
This theme song is iconic.
Very iconic. I mean, it's lumped with Spider-Man altogether.
And they always find a way to sort of give a nod to it in most of the films, I want to say. Or at least they did with the first Raimi film. I honestly can't recall if they did it with the Andrew Garfield ones or even the
Andrew
new one.
Garfield had as a ringtone in Spider-Man 2, which I thought was cool. I know Aerosmith did their version of it for the first Spider-Man film.
It sucked. Like Aerosmith is okay. Like they're
okay, but I think they're overrated and they don't go away.
They got some good tracks. I mean, fuck the song from Armageddon.
Oh, God.
And
that movie altogether.
No, they're younger kids, and it's weird that I'm saying this that I work with, and they'll listen to that or like Celine Dion. I'm like, turn that shit off, and they're like, why? And I'm like, because man, like that summer, like those two between Titanic and Armageddon, and those songs that just wore me out.
They sucked then, and they suck now. So it's not like
they got some good songs, but that was not one of them.
Yeah. And here he is, the lizard popping out of the swamp. As simplistic as the animation
I'm the lizard
I like it
man.
a lot. Yeah. I do like the painted backgrounds of the swamp.
Yeah, and I like the animation and their faces as they're going back.
Now, you said
I mean, what happened to these guys? They just go back and then just stand up in the water like, okay, they swim away.
Yeah.
But still, like, the water's not that deep. They could have just stood up.
Well, we have no idea. But in the comic, though, like, he attacks some, like, local hunters in the woods or in the swamp and scares them off. And then the word spreads right here. Makes it in the newspaper. But the Daily Bugle issues a challenge to Spartan to take on the Lizard Man. Which is
but that in the comic it all happens in New York, right? Whereas this, like,
no, it starts in New York and it goes down to Florida.
Okay, so it's like that in the comic as well. Because when I'm watching this, I'm like, it's kind of it's cool to see, but it's also kind of weird because when I think Spider-Man, I think it's mostly all of his stories are just localized in New York for the most part.
And I looking at this because this is early issues of Amazing Spider-Man, so like Stan Lee and it's still kind of figuring out the character as it goes along. And it's like purpose, like Spider-Man, like in the comic, deliberately wants to go fight the Lizard Man. Like, all right, I'll do it as long as Jameson pays for it.
Now, did Peter Parker kind of have this flat top look in these comics early on as well? Or
pretty much. Like he wears glasses in the comics during this time too. But the look, is very pretty much prominent aside from the glasses, which I'm sure were just removed for animation purposes. And Betty Brant's hair is brown and everything, but other than that, they capture everything pretty damn good. It just shows that at least they were trying to capture the spirit and look at the comics, whereas today everyone's taking liberties left and right. I don't like Thor with blonde hair. Make it red. Take that helmet off. Give him a spoon instead of a hammer. Who ever used a hammer or something like that?
I guess here's another question too in the comics, because you see how he's got like the design on his mask and his arms and legs, but it kind of cuts off right here, whereas I'm kind of used to it kind of spreading a little bit further.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that was done for animation as well too, because I mean his whole body's covered in webbing on the red, so it's just used sparingly, like on the face, the hands, and the feet. But then you got his whole front and back is covered in webbing too, and I think it's just done to. It's less work to animate drawing in all that webbing at the time. I mean, because I used to wonder about that too when I revisited this show. I'm like, I don't like that. But then I just kind of came to the conclusion I've never sought to research it out. So if someone knows the answer, I'm telling you up front, I never bothered to research it.
I like this sequence too.
And this is out of the comic book as well, them fighting underwater. Yeah, it's
odd choices for the sound effects, but
and that's what kind of makes it look a little bit more cartoony because of the sound effects used, because they sound like Looney Tune effects.
But I will say that I really enjoy his voice. I mean, yeah,
I love his voice.
He sounds like way older than he should probably, but yeah. I enjoy it.
It definitely adds a level of maturity, and the voice actor, he was interviewed by the Spider-Man Crawl Space website about a year ago, so it was an interesting interview. But I like how he just gives Spider-Man a very serious persona. It's not, and that's why I feel like this show, you may laugh at it, but it's not made for laughs. It's not done to make you laugh or chuckle. It's trying to take the stuff seriously, and that's what I like about it. So I mean that's why I have a great appreciation for it. Not all the episodes are great because they don't they would come up with some of their own original villains which were not very good, but they would use Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, the Scorpion, the Vulture, Mysterio, Electro, Sandman. They use a lot of the heavy hitters.
I like this note. It's like, leave this place and never come back. All my love.
Yeah. Well, he just wants to make sure he gets to the point here.
Yeah. But it's good. It's like, get the fuck out. All the best. All my love.
Take care. Like this brisket in the fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's pretty much all this happens too here as well. Like the lizard attacks Billy, not deliberately. In the comic, he's trying to approach it, but not trying to hurt him, and therefore Spider-Man jumps into action. And this cartoon as well, like I know this is like the one episode Nathan's watched, but they use a lot of the same stock sequences of Spider-Man crawling, swinging. Like,
well, I mean, so we got that a lot in a lot of these cartoons. I mean, your all-time favorite reuses a lot of the same. So it's I guess when you look at it in a certain way, it can be a negative, but at the same time too, like Joe was saying when I did the commentary with you guys on one of the Masters episodes, you guys always enjoyed seeing that transformation sequence week after week. So I guess seeing certain things is just kind of comforting.
Well, plus I feel like given the limitations, like if you pick the right sequences of stock to use, it can be used quite effectively. Like all the sequences of Spider-Man, like shooting a web up and then climbs up and out of the swamp, like it works well. And this here too, this is right out of the comic book as well, going to Dr. Connor's lab and working on an antidote to cure him. And also in this too, like they don't, Dr. Connors doesn't have one arm. He's got both arms and is dabbling in, science with reptiles, whereas in the comics, he's looking for a cure to regrow his arm after a war injury. And that becomes, in the comics, that's like his obsession is to grow his arm back.
Well, I mean, probably during this time, that was probably not something that they were willing to do for a kids' television show. So.
Yeah, it might come off a little excessive for a 1960s children animation show. A guy with one arm who's trying to go back. It's a little extra emotion.
Yeah, but and also you got to look at the time period. Like we're right around Vietnam and everything that may have not settled too well.
Probably not. Yeah.
He kind of gets his ass kicked.
Yeah, he does, and at least he admits to it. And I mean, that's what you need to see in the comics as well. Like, Spider-Man will come up triumphant for the most part in most of his books, but it makes it more effective if he does get his ass kicked because
well, I mean, that's like that with anything, right? Like you got to get the heat on your face, and then
people are not going to care about a wrestling match if the heel can't strike up any heat on the baby face. And it works in comic books and movies. You have to make the villains threatening, and this is one of my favorite things too about in this episode and in the comic is fighting in the old Spanish fort and lizards controlling alligators. Like, this is awesome. Of course, the alligators look quite friendly in this episode. Look like kind of come up and pet them almost.
Well, because that animation in that shot's a little awkward because they have to show it at like a perspective from Spider-Man, but it kind of comes across weird, and then Spider-Man, just goofing up and falling off.
Yeah. Which is, a liberty taken, but
yeah, I mean, you would think as he's falling, he would just shoot a web onto that, but the cool thing about it too is being in a swamp, it doesn't give him much opportunity to really web onto anything and swing.
Yeah, you could really only do but so much in a swamp. Which, I mean, in the comic, he makes the best of it, of course, and in this, and that's what kind of keeps it convenient about keeping him in New York. Is, you've always got something to cling to or swing to. And here he is back to normal here, Dr. Connors. Which is a very, very popular and legendary character in the Spider-Man mythos. Which, fun little fact for Nathan here, eventually later on in recent years, the lizard eats his son.
All right. No, that's cool. Right on. I miss Spider-Man.
Which I don't know if you recognize some of the voices. Like a lot of them sounded very familiar to the Rudolph cartoon. Like the voice of JJ sounds like the voice of Comet. All right, everybody line up now. Just that. And the voice of Billy Connors sounds a lot like Rudolph.
Aha! So it just turns out that they were shooting a movie. Yeah.
JJ finding any way to shoot down, the real scoop there, because that's true to the character. He doesn't want to give Spider-Man credit for anything, and that's just like in every comic book for the most part there. And that is where crawls the lizard.
That's it, man. 10 minutes long. We probably should have bundled up this one and another one or something, but
well, I guess, you never know what Nathan's going to feel, and I don't want to make him sit through anything that he may not enjoy so much because, this is about showing appreciation for all kinds of animation, and I think it was an easy pill for Nathan to swallow. I don't think it was a big chore for him to sit through this.
No, it wasn't. I mean, it's lighthearted. It's fun. I enjoy it. I mean, there's parts I'm gonna laugh at just because I'm like, all right.
And I get that. I do not argue
it's charming. I'm not laughing in it in a haha man, this really sucks kind of way. I'm just laughing at it, just like thinking of the headspace that they're in when they're writing these back in 1967. Culture was way different. This is over 40 years ago.
Yeah, this was like before Scooby-Doo and all that stuff, man. This wasn't a whole lot to compare it to at the time. They had done Superman from the Max Fleischer cartoon, and you got Looney Tunes, and you got Tom and Jerry and Hanna-Barbera cartoons and stuff like that. So there's just not a whole lot of variety over the years. Plus, you have the live-action Batman, and you've had the live-action Superman series with George Reeves. So, Superman or superheroes have been around on TV for a little while at that time. But I mean, for Spider-Man to be an animation, I mean, I can see it being a tremendous deal had I grown up in the '60s and this was on TV, because it was a big deal to watch. The '80s animated shows, the '90s show when it came on, never missed it. God, I couldn't wait to get up Saturday morning to watch Spider-Man. So, and I think it's a great cartoon. I wouldn't recommend all the episodes by any means, but I look at some of the other options, like Never Step on a Scorpion, like the Scorpion's first appearance. That'd be fun to cover that with the Witching Hour with the Green Goblin, because I just love the Green Goblin's my favorite Spider-Man villain. So
I think one of the Green Goblin episodes was recommended to us. from this series.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah. He was in a few episodes. Some of the villains, like Doc Ock, Mysterio, Vulture, Rhino, Electro, they all show up in a few episodes. Like they all have like more than just one appearance. The Vulture does too. But then you got some really kind of like there's the Fly, but it's not the Fly from Marvel Comics. It's like their own version of the Fly, and it's like
probably ran into some issues.
Yeah. So, but yeah, definitely. We do when we revisit this show, which I'd like to think we will sometime in the near future.
Yeah.
We would double up and probably do Scorpion and Green Goblin, probably.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna toss this out to you because as far as I know, now this could change, but I don't have to work next Saturday. Subject to change, but I'll be free. So here's what I'm thinking.
All right.
I'm thinking because I don't know, since we did the first film and we've talked about it, just like it's been so long since I've watched the sequel, I kind of just want to do that.
Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah. How would you feel about doing that next week?
By God, let's conquer it, man. We'll get Keno, we'll get some pizza, some raised pizza, and attack some hooligans wearing stockings on their heads and kick their ass and just use sausages and everything but weapons. So
Mama.
Yeah. Toka and Razor. Yeah.
All right.
Babies.
As long as my work schedule doesn't change. So we can't put it in concrete just yet for all the listeners out there. But
if we don't, then I say we oh shit. I forgot you don't have a Blu-ray player. I was gonna say let's do the Batman 60 show. But I forgot you don't have a
I don't have a Blu-ray player accessible.
Yeah, then well, you know what? If we can find one, even though I said I really wasn't interested in doing it, if Secret of the Ooze fails and we just have time to do like a 22-minute episode, if we can find something from the 90s animated series of Spider-Man, that is yet to be a show we have touched, and I'm not saying I'm going to think it's going to be, it's great, because it looks great. It's animated well. I just don't like some of the voices and some of the dialogue pacing is sped up so fast. It just sounds like they're trying to rush the damn thing. But I'm not opposed to, tackling, one of those episodes, provided we can find a quality version like on Daily Motion or something. Right. Because there's snippets on YouTube available, but they're done in like clips.
Right.
And broken up, and I don't know if that'd be the most efficient way to try and tackle that show.
Okay.
But that's a thought.
All right. But you guys plan on Secret of the Ooze.
Okay. All right. We'll try to tackle it at 12:30 again early. That way there's.
Well, and that's the thing too. Even if I do have to work, that might still work out if we start it and end it pretty much when the movie's over. We might be able to just like work that in because all I got to do is hop in the shower, pack a lunch, and be on the road at 3.
Well, why don't you take your shower before the podcast?
I could do that.
But you won't do that, will you?
No, that's what I did today.
Why don't you pack your lunch before the podcast and shower before the podcast?
Because then that would require me to get up earlier than I need to. And
God.
I got to try to sleep as much as I can.
Well, I understand when you go to bed at 6 in the morning.
Yeah. Or you fall asleep on the couch and wake up and it's like 8 a.m. and you're like, fuck. Go lay in bed for like 2 hours. Get up. Damn it.
I'm just waiting for that call, Nathan.
Yeah, just wait for that call.
Well, I'm glad you have a Major Jones to tackle Secret of the Ooze there, bud.
Yeah, well, it's been a long time since I've watched it, honestly. It's been a handful of years.
I think it's been about 2 years. I watched it like around, I got really sick. And I remember I just popped it in just for the hell of it to sit down and watch it. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago was the last time I watched it.
Mine's been at least. It's got to at least be more than 5 years, at least.
Thought you're a true fan.
Yeah, whatever. All right, so I'm ready to go back to that. But anyway, I'm getting hungry. I got some more laundry I got to get going. So we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Tyler, any more final thoughts on Spider-Man 67?
I love 67. If you're interested in checking out some other, they're all available on YouTube, so you don't have to go buy the set. But I'd recommend checking out anything the Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Electro, Mysterio, the Sands of Crime with the Sandman, the Rhino, Horns of the Rhino.
Does it turn out that Sandman's the one that killed Uncle Ben?
Oh no, they stay away from any of that garbage. God, no. Let me just paint this very. If you find it silly and hokey with the sound effects and stuff, the villains are portrayed as threatening villains. They're not dumbed down and you're supposed to feel sorry for them, like every Sam Raimi film had you do. Oh God, man, Doc Ock's not really a bad guy. Green Goblin's really not a bad guy. Sandman's not really a bad guy. Harry Osborn's not really a bad guy. Venom's not really a bad guy. You know, it's like, stop it. These villains are played to be villains. So laugh at it all you want, but you cannot take that away from the show.
But the sympathy, you got to feel bad for him.
You know, I know that it's just back and forth. People want to slam the Raimi films, but they also want to slam the Garfield films. You know, there are problems with both series of films. So I mean, if people say they love the Sam Raimi films, okay, I get why you like it. But I'm like, I think they're terrible films. I've seen all three of them. I just think they're very, very bad films. Not to say they didn't have some nice moments or ideas. They're just, you know. And I know Nathan's, I think Nathan likes the first Amazing Spider-Man film, Andrew Garfield. I know he doesn't like the second one.
No, the second one,
the second one has problems left and right, but there's still a lot of good stuff in that merits. Like, yes, I'm proud to own it. It's hard to watch the whole thing because, I mean, there's some stuff I'm like, but I do like enough of it to feel like it was a damn good film. But I get why people don't like it. Yeah. I really do. I don't.
It was just too much going on.
Too much stuff, and that's one of the problems with it. There's too much stuff going on in there, and Sony trying to stir up their whole Spidey universe with the Sinister Six and deciding we're going to have Norman Osborn come back as a head, stuff like that. You're like, yes, it has problems, but there's a lot of great in both films, and I love Spider-Man so much, and I like to be as open-minded about both sides, and but the Raimi films, I just have a hard time. Like, I've never understood why they,
Yeah.
So I don't want to come down to people who love the Raimi films. I don't like them. I have my reasons for it, but it's not like I honestly have more respect for those people who like those films than the people who want to denounce the Keaton Batman films and say that the Christian Bale Nolan films just belittle that stuff. Like I
actually, some people at work got pissed at me because they'll talk movies all the time and they'll throw out a movie and they'll be like, "What'd you think of this?" I'm like, "Yeah, that was all right." And they're like, "Really?" And they're like, "All right, you can't hate the Nolan Batman films." And I'm like, "I don't hate them, but they don't really hold up as much." And they got so offended and mad at me. I was like,
What did they have to say? Because it was
I even used your line. I was like, yeah, it's like I quit being Batman to be my girlfriend,
which is what it is.
Yeah,
it's like I'm not making up anything there, people. It's for 3 films. I'll quit being Batman. You be my girlfriend. It's just. And what did they say to that?
Nothing they could say. They're like, oh yeah, I never thought about it that way.
I'm sorry. And at what point did you see Keaton say he's going to give up being Batman to have Vicky Vale? Like, yeah, I'll sleep with you, but I got work right now.
Yeah, I mean, he contemplates like telling her.
Yeah, but not giving up being Batman.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the perfect way to go by like throwing out the secret identity, but you know what? In this day and age, it's like Schramer just can't fit. They have to get rid of the secret. It's like it's a big pivotal moment in the movie. He has to take the mask off. Even the Christopher Reeve Superman films, like someone finds out. It's just I don't know why they felt the need to do that. As if it's just let's just piss it away for shock value. Nothing's safe anymore in superhero films. But I do find that I wish I could have just sat quiet and just watched from afar, like you telling them, like, nah. I mean,
and they were like, yeah, but Michael Caine is Alfred. I'm like, yeah, but he was.
What about him?
But he was playing Michael Caine. Like,
yeah.
What? How can? Whatever.
How old are these people that are arguing this stuff? Are they like in the 20s?
Mid-20s.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. You guys do your research, do your homework.
I mean, whatever.
If you like it, you like it. I'm not telling you you're stupid for liking it, but
you're stupid for like.
I just don't just if you're good, and that's what I think. What bothers me about people who want to debate and argue movies. Have some actual facts and things specifically to help enhance your argument. Don't just sit there and say, "What, Michael Caine?" He's bloody like no one was hurt, and have something to back up your argument. Don't just say it because it's new, and you guys only like the new stuff because it's new, and that stuff's old. You gonna sit there and say My Cousin Vinny's not funny because it came out in 1993? or whatever year it came out. Like, get your head out of your ass. You know.
Oh man.
You know, I just but I'm so proud of you to just denounce them, and they're like, I gotta go now.
It has its.
They're not like they're not Ghost Rider. No, they are by far anything in that realm of that. I just don't enjoy watching these films. Like I love the beginning of Batman Begins with him training with Liam Neeson / Ducard / Ra's al Ghul. All that stuff is fun, but I don't like Gary Oldman's portrayal of Gordon. He kind of comes off as a little schlubby to me. He doesn't come off as. And plus, I'm not someone who gets a hard on for Jim Gordon. I watch Batman to watch Batman. I don't care about the one good cop on the force guy. I'm like, just does not fascinate me that much like it does with everybody else. And plus, you can't see a damn thing when all the fight scenes are going on. Like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah.
You know, at least when Keaton's taking on the ninja in the back alley, you see every thrust, punch, kick, block, everything. All done in camera.
Anyway.
That's right.
Let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, because my stomach's like.
I'm tired of like being ugly to the Batman Nolan films. We'll do it another day.
Yeah, another day. Next time, Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah, we'll just denounce the Nolan films again for an hour.
The entire time. God. We have to make sure when we get Danielle and we do Batman Returns that we don't do that the entire time again.
I kind of feel like it makes you want to go back and revisit Batman '89 just for the sake of like, let's just focus on talking about how great this film is and just, because, I remember George's like, all you did was slam the Nolan films the whole time. Like, that's right, we did. Like, I don't deny it.
Yeah, we'll leave that one be. But thank you guys for joining us live in the chat. If you're joining us on the archive, please hit subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified when we go live or when new videos get posted. Check out all the links down below. Check out BeyondRetroPodcast.com. Buy Joe's t-shirts. Hit him up for a custom. And check out Fans of Power, the He-Man and the Master Universe podcast hosted by Tyler Baker and Joe Amato. And, man, we'll be back in about 40 minutes. I don't even know why I'm saying it because people in the archive are like, what?
And we have to treat this like, no one else is, like they're listening to this individual. We're treating it as if like they're going back to YouTube, fat chance, and on Podbean, and actually listen to it and know, hey, you're doing the right thing.
I want to encourage those of you again as well from Podbean and iTunes. Hop on over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment.
I feel like we're doing something right on YouTube here, people.
Oh my God, Tyler begging again.
I mean, do I have to go to the street and just hold out a can and just say, just start begging for views?
Yes.
Views. Yeah. Anybody spare any views here?
Well,
I'm so dirt poor when it comes to YouTube views here, people. Can you at least let us know? Do you like listen to his audio, like the audio? Do you prefer that? I mean, that's what we.
I'm going to say that they do because they just don't want to look at your face. You're too ugly to be on YouTube.
Well, they would be wrong if they thought that, and I would debate them on that.
Of course you would.
Live on the internet. We can set up. You can set up a spinoff episode of the Beyond Retro brand.
Yeah. Tyler versus the internet.
Yeah, and if one person just shows and says, "I think you're stupid," well, then I kind of felt sad. Like, this is it. This is the only person that doesn't like my face. I kind of felt insulted.
Now we can get Joe to bring some people in just specifically.
Yeah, well, we have to get Joe to promote it.
Yeah, it was. We'll get into that when we do retro with him.
Yeah.
But until then, thank you guys for joining us, and hopefully next week we'll see you
for the news with Ninja Rat.
Yeah. God, Vanilla Ice. Why? Oh,
it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. See you guys next time.